Good evening, everybody. Once again, this is a UFC 159 post-fight recap with Bear Thunder Heart. And tonight, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, what? I mean, if you want to talk about one of the most freakiest, kookiest nights that you can actually watch a pay-per-view, or even watching even preliminary fights even, that was the whole UFC event, this was it right there. I mean, you want to talk about strange and freaky and crazy and all kinds of surprises that you got, all kinds of screw-ups that you can think of. Oh man, tonight. I thought that I had a lot of thousands of laughs in the past with other UFC events, but wow, I must have had a night of 10,000 laughs the way that things were going, and 10,000 ills at the same time. What I mean by that, I'm gonna run down this event. So here we go. Now, to kick things off in the first fight of Steven Siler versus Holobaugh. And the winner is Steven Siler via unanimous decision. And wow, this was like a round war fight. This was a 3-round war with these guys. I mean, wow. And these were featherweights, mind you. These featherweights were going at it. Okay, they were going through the attitude in there. They were both busted up. Blood was everywhere. Submission attempts, ground and pounds. Kicking legs, uppercuts, hook punches to each other, clinches against the fence. This fight had it all. This fight had it all. And you want to talk about close calls? I mean, there was even like in the first round when Steven Siler had Holobaugh not only in a body lock, which was like almost like a figure four body lock rather than the scissors. It's like a figure four body lock, but he had him grounded and pounded to such a degree that he even had him in a choke hold, rear naked choke so badly, so much, he had it so tight, I thought he was done. And guess what? He got out of it not once, but twice. And then Holobaugh in the second round really messed up Steven Siler the same way Steven Siler was messing Kurt up in the first round. I mean, it just went back and forth. And then they very in the third round, my goodness, it was just they both messed each other up so badly. You know, like I said, they just took the fight to the ground, up, on their feet, everything. It was crazy. The only thing that didn't happen with these two is that they didn't do any jump techniques. No jump spinning kicks, none of that other stuff. Just straight rolling on the ground or standing up, or ground and pounding, or submission attempts. And even with such close calls with these submissions, yet none of them tapped out, and it went to Steven Siler for unanimous decision. And Leonard Garcia versus Cody McKenzie. And the winner is Cody McKenzie via unanimous decision. My friend that invited me was very, very disappointed that Leonard Garcia didn't win. Well, tough break for him. And Bryan Caraway versus Johnny Bedford. And the winner is Bryan Caraway via submission with a guillotine choke. And how did this thing happen anyway? You've got to be kidding me. I mean, these two guys right there were going at it. I mean, sure, they both started off strong and everything, but as time went along, Bryan Caraway just did a little more. He had a little more rhythm to his punches, a little more rhythm to his technique. And it wasn't that John Bedford didn't fight back. He did. But he just wasn't landing a lot of strikes like he should have. And on top of that, according to Joe Rogan, there was, I guess, speculation that Johnny Bedford's hand was hurting, his right hand, because he did not let his right hand supposedly go, and he was using too much of his left hand. Normally, he gets more aggressive, according to Joe Rogan, and perhaps he's right. But the thing about it is, though, it didn't stop Bryan Caraway from taking him to the ground near about 20 to 16 seconds in the third round, almost at the end of it, and finally had him in a guillotine choke and forcing Johnny Bedford to tap out. So congratulations, Bryan Caraway, an excellent submission victory. And in the women's bout, bantamweight bout, it was featured Sara McMann versus Sheila Gaff. And the winner is Sara McMann via a TKO victory in the very first round. Actually, no. Actually, in the second round. Because the first round, she basically had her taken down, meaning Sara McMann had Sheila Gaff taken down just when the fight just started. And she just basically had her tied up and just grounded and pounded her. Sheila Gaff didn't have really an answer. All she did was just defending herself a little bit through defensive and then just having her in the guard. But it didn't really help her very much. And then during the second round, that's when the whole thing started again. The only difference was Sheila tried to wrestle, turn Sara McMann around, but then instead McMann, of course, a silver medalist in Olympic wrestling, no less, was able to turn her around, had her in a crucifix. Mind you, had her in a crucifix position where she not only was able to drop some elbows on her face, but she had a little mercy on her, thought that her elbows were too brutal. Wow, what a lady, right? And instead switches to uppercuts and punches to the lady. Oh my goodness. It just saw how crazy. It just started landing some good punches and basically TKO. Referee had to stop the fight. So congratulations, Sarah McMann, and still undefeated, 7-0 now in the UFC. So, in mixed martial arts in general. So congrats. And Gian Villante versus Ovince Preux. That's how you say it. And the winner is Ovince Preux. Now here's the thing, with a majority technical decision due to sorry officiating and eye poking. Now how this happened? I'm gonna just run this down. These two, you have let's see, Gian Villante and Ovince Preux. Preux. They came at it, and Preux was actually winning at first. He was actually coming out, swinging, gun blazing, and so forth in the first round. And then, of course, the only thing that Gian Villante did was leg kicks, and he came out with punches him back, and so forth. But it was really Ovince that really got the offense going in the first round and everything else. But then by the second round, things were not necessarily, didn't turn around too much, except Gian was starting to find a little more rhythm, and Ovince was starting to get a little tired. And then, so that was what was going on. They started getting a little tired, and it was really crazy because it almost went the full distance in round number 3. But earlier, though, what happened was in the very end, these two were very tired, but these two were starting to pick up again, especially Ovince. But what happened was when Gian came at him, Ovince, of course, was trying to defend himself. But then he got rushed into it. The eye actually poked him, and then he told the referee that he couldn't see, and he was all, but he wanted to break. He didn't want the fight to be over, and that's exactly what that referee did. He just automatically stopped the fight. So you can't see, okay, the fight's over. He was like, what? Wait a minute, you can't do this. You can't do this. And then, of course, even Ovince was not even happy with that decision. I wasn't. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Just with an eye poke. I mean, we've seen grind shots, eye pokes, and certain other illegal maneuvers that happened, whether it's an accident or whatever else. The referee gives them ample time to recover so they can keep the fight going. That's what that stupid referee should have done. He should have let the guy recover, but instead, he decided to stop the fight due to an eye poke. And it wasn't like it was that too bad of an eye poke, because, I mean, sure, it was messing him up, but the other guy felt confident, meaning Gian felt confident that he wanted to go. And that should have happened, but obviously the eye poke got to a point where they had to stop the fight, let the judges render the decision, and it was just a majority technical decision. I guess that's what they call it, rather than a unanimous decision, because it didn't go all of the 3 rounds. So,
staying in the hotel?
No.
Okay.
The rest of the match. Who goes up?
Well, you're not using our computer, but alright. Are you logged in? Are you using our...
I'm using the Wi-Fi, but
okay,
I'm
but
not
it's... Okay, I'll let it slide.
Okay.
well, sorry for the interruption. There's a hotel manager checking out on someone else. So it wasn't me. But still, sorry for the interruption. Any event, let's move on. What was I saying? Yes, as far as the decision is concerned, that was horrible. Now, you want to talk about one horrible, crazy event after another? Well, let's go to the next one. I'm going to tell you what happened. Now, Rustam Khabilov versus Yancy Medeiros. And the winner is Rustam Khabilov via TKO. And how did this happen, by the way? With a Yancy Medeiros injury to the thumb in the first round. How did this happen? Well, they all started gun blazing, fighting. Medeiros was really doing an excellent job in evading and throwing some good punches and so forth and good kicks. Of course, Rustam was not going to be denied either, and he started getting. I mean, he was a sambo champion for crying out loud, so that's usually what happens. And what he did, he went and grabbed Yancy, and not only would try to suplex him with a German, but of course he defended. Of course he tried to, but he defended himself. Yancy defended himself well. Whether he didn't get suplexed, but then they were scrambling, around where he wasn't supposed to get suplexed, and then he landed wrong on his thumb and actually broke his thumb, and then he was able to escape it. But then the referee, he was holding his hand. The referee stopped the fight for a second, checked it out, and his thumb was broken. His thumb just got broken right off of him. Ew. It was just nasty, nasty, nasty. And the referee decided to once again stop the fight and rewarded Rustam Khabilov the TKO victory due to the injury in the very first round out of technicality. So that's another freaky accident right there that stopped a really good fight. And so with that being said, that was unfortunate. Yancy, I hope you get well soon. I'm sure I know your thumb will get back together. Just, now it's time for you to rest and reevaluate. And then now let's move on to another good fight. That is Jim Miller versus Pat Healy. Now, Pat Healy, of course, fought in Strikeforce. He was also in the UFC a long time ago. He hasn't been in the UFC since 2006. So this is more of a welcome back fight for Pat Healy. And wow, what a welcome back fight that was for him, because I tell you, this fight nearly went the distance. The only difference was, these two really went at it. Jim Miller's a really tough competitor, but Pat Healy really brought it in tonight too, and with ground and pounds punches. But also Jim Miller did a lot of good job too. As far as reverse, submission attempts on both sides. Blood was coming from both sides, from both of these guys. They really busted each other up. Wow. This was an incredible fight with those two. Two red-bearded guys just going at it. It was red-bearded white boys just going at it. Bam, bam, Man, it was one of those, it was really excellent to fight. And, of course, at the very, very end, though, Jim Miller just got pounded to such a degree, he got worn out. He was breathing heavy. Pat Healy just kept on really, really, really destroying him to such a degree that he was able to slap on a rear naked choke. Only this time, rather than had him face on the ground, he had him face up, had it cinched so well, had him in the body lock so well that he finally had him so tight that Jim Miller didn't respond, but he didn't tap out either, but his arms just got too wobbly and just flopped, and the referee stopped the fight and rewarded him a submission victory with a rear naked choke. Wow, what a victory that was. And not only that, but he also not only got submission of the night award, but he also got the fight of the night too, Pat Healy. So I would say triple congrats on that. Wow. That's all I got to say on that. And the next fight featured Phil Davis versus Vinny Magalhaes. And the winner is Phil Davis via unanimous decision. There was a lot of trash talking between the two of them, well, mostly between Vinny Magalhaes, and did the most talking that he's able to beat up Phil Davis and everything else. Well, sorry, didn't happen. Didn't go that way tonight. Matter of fact, Phil Davis just simply outstruck him. He did very little wrestling and very little grappling with Magalhaes, and just simply Magalhaes. Sorry, that's how you say it. Magalhaes. He just simply kept that standing for the most part. He kept outstriking him. The only thing that Magalhaes actually had, Vinny, was some good leg kicks. But it really, really wasn't enough, because really, Phil Davis really kept busy. He kept on striking. He hit him with the most jabs, and even what Joe Rogan said, he probably hit him with the most jabs he's ever done in his whole probably mixed martial art career, that is. And Phil Davis, wow, he did an excellent job